So what are you avoiding so as not to feel disappointment? This really flew into my consciousness this week as I was observing some interactions that I had with some people. So, we think disappointment is just blah, it's really just not something really so deep wounded. It doesn't reverberate through space and time and create limits right now, but it really, really does. Disappointment is such a deep wound within the fabric of our collective society that we don't even realize how it is impacting our lives. Often as children, we'll have experienced disappointment on such deep, heart wrenching levels. It would have created many tears in our heart space and created many sort of like walls and shutdowns to protect ourselves from feeling that deep level of pain, that deep level of disappointment that would have broken our hearts. And it could be through so many different experiences. It can be experiences at school, our parents, perhaps a parent left, perhaps a parent got poorly, perhaps a parent was depressed, anxious, perhaps a parent felt like, perhaps a parent projected onto us that they wanted us to be more, that we just weren't enough, we weren't getting the right grades, we were just a disappointment, we were just disappointing them all the time. So not only would we have felt deeply that we were disappointments to our parents, because they're projecting their own feelings of disappointment, but we'll have felt disappointed by not being seen, heard, understood for who we are. There'd have been so many different things going on that creates these deep tears in the heart space and deep wounding, so that as we grow up, we don't even realize that we are avoiding disappointment. We're avoiding disappointing ourselves, but we're also avoiding disappointing others. And I just want to give you an example of how that limits our reality, how it stops us from really expanding into our destinies. So I started my life in finance, 22 years, heard the call to retrain in hypnotherapy, started on that path towards what I'm doing now, soul therapy, working on deep healing and reconnection back to the soul, re-embodying the soul so we can move on to our destined path. However, when I first started and I had two of my first clients, paid clients, because I did a lot of practice before I started charging. Two of my first clients, paid clients, both of them had terminal cancer, and I knew at the time that this was so important, that I was really being asked to really dig really deep and step up. And I didn't turn away from that. I didn't run away in fear. I just knew the universe. It was an initiation. I knew this. And I went deeper and I dug in and I really did everything that I could. I found all the resources within me to deliver as much as I could to these patients. However, I realized at that time, whilst I believed that the body could heal anything, I believed the body and the soul, when it's got the right environment, the right space, it could heal anything. But I was really at that point, I still had a lot of wounds myself that I was healing, and I was not embodying that as truth. I thought it to be truth, but I didn't feel confident in it. I was afraid to disappoint them. I was afraid to give them false hope. We've all heard that, don't give someone false hope, don't disappoint them. I was afraid to disappoint them. So rather than just being confident and stood there saying, I know you can heal yourself, I know this, I was, you might be able to. I was really sort of like, the energy I give, I couldn't stand in that integrity. One, I hadn't embodied that as truth. I couldn't stand in that integrity at the time. I didn't want to disappoint them. I didn't realize this so deeply at the time. I can see it right now. I was afraid of disappointing them. It's almost like disappointment is so wounding. It brings up all those wounds of childhood. I didn't want to give them false hope, and then it turned out not to transpire, and then them feel negatively towards me, feel like I disappointed them and really hurt them. So now jump forward 24 years later, and I've been on such a deep journey, such a healing journey. My soul is moving into my body at like rocket speed. And I'm dissolving all those programs. I'm seeing them for what they are. They're starting to come into my consciousness. I'm seeing places in my life so clearly because the light is so bright that doesn't fit me anymore. That is a program from wounds, from being a childhood, from being disappointed. And with this new client, when I spoke to him, I knew that he could heal himself. So he has an illness that he's been told will progress, but I know 100% in my body that he absolutely can heal that it is a messenger signal for him to go and do his trauma work. I knew before speaking to him that he had trauma in his past, because if you've got an illness, then it's most likely going to be because you've had trauma in your past that hasn't been process out of the body, and it's blocking up the energetic system, putting the energy system out of balance so that your body can't come back to homeostasis, it can't heal itself, which it is designed to do. It's designed to regenerate, not degenerate. Only degenerates when it's being blocked up with things that shouldn't be inside the body. And even though those two cancer clients that I worked with, I didn't have that same knowing, embodiment, belief. I was so fearful of disappointing them, and that blocked me from connecting to my truth because I was too connected to that disappointment. Again, not consciously aware of that fully. I'm consciously aware of it now because it came right up into my viewpoint to see and observe and see how I'd shifted that. Because with this client, I just knew, because I was embodying my soul, and I know and I trust my soul because I've been on a journey to trust my soul. I trust myself and my soul, and I trust what I know now. And I let him know the truth. I let him know the truth. I didn't say to him, I can cure your illness. I said to him, I'm not even going to focus on your illness, because that is just a symptom. It's just a messenger signal. We're going to focus on your healing. We're going to go on a healing journey. And whilst I know 100% you can absolutely heal yourself, I also know that I cannot guarantee that, because I am not God. I am not God or you. And it is you and God, Mother, Father, God, that has the agreement as to how your life is going to unfold. However, I do believe if you've been impulsed to come to me, it is because you're on that journey to embody the true soul that is miraculous. It can do anything. It can show up right in front of your face, which I am realizing now. I'm realizing again other ways where I'm blocking myself from, I'm protecting myself from disappointment through saying certain things. So again, this came front and center with this same client. This client is mirroring so much for me. It's amazing. So this client, when we did a session about the soul, and the way that I've interacted with the soul, well, it started off a bit slow because I had all these doubts and I had all these fears because I didn't want to be disappointed. So I really created a bit of resistance towards allowing the soul full access and just to come right in. And I realized when he was leaving, and I was talking about the soul and how we recognize the soul in our lives, how we integrate more of the soul. And I said to him, it's not always just gonna, it's not just gonna show up in front of your face and say, I'm here. And then I instantly heard my soul say, well, I might. And I was like, oh, actually, it might. And I saw instantly how I was trying to protect him from disappointment. I was trying to protect myself from disappointing him because it felt wounds. I realized I had a wound to heal there. I had to go deeper on this wound, and just acknowledging it starts to dissolve it anyway. And it's dissolving. I know it's dissolving already because of the work that I'm doing with my clients in this Reconnect program. Already started those fires burning last week in starting to heal some of those root wounds. And that's why it's coming up, because it's coming to the surface to be seen, felt, faced, healed, and transmuted. So I ask you to look in your life. When we ask questions to the soul, the answers come to us. When we fill ourselves up with our light, it's so bright that we can't help but see all that is not truth, all that is the wounding within us. So if I stayed clinging to that wound, if I continued to fear it, through fear of disappointing my client, because I am not God and I cannot 100% say what's going to happen, but I do know what is possible, and I can absolutely help my clients to open up to that truth, because it is truth, that it's absolutely possible that anything that we experience, any illness, any disease, we can heal it. We can heal ourselves, and as a side effect, cure it. I 100% believe that. And now I realize I am being put on the path to really become that scientist, and to actually to be able to show that to other clients. And I believe potentially my client is also, that is part of his mission, to embody that so that he can be a beacon to other people and show other people, if I can do it, you can do it too. So I just tell you that tale to see how me seeing that and letting go of that, no longer avoiding disappointment, just accepting truth, and giving people their own responsibility for themselves. I'm not responsible for the outcome. I can only give my best. I will bring everything that I've got to the table. I will give everything that I've got in terms of this journey that I've been on, becoming a master in my healing space. And then it is up to the person to accept that. But we can also understand that it's not a failure if we don't heal ourselves. Well, you will heal. You'll always heal through a healing journey. But if the symptoms of that disease don't go because of it, that's not because we are a failure. That's because we might have another contract and other things to learn. But I believe 100% now, I am on the path to actually start having some case studies to actually show that to people, so that other people can really open up to that. But look in your life and see, where in your life are you avoiding disappointment? Where are you saying something that is literally stopping you from experiencing something? So I should add, when I said that about my soul, and then instantly my soul said, well, I might. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, you might. You can. Of course you can. I know that you can. Why am I trying to protect myself from that? I know you can. Later on that night, I saw my soul for the first time. I feel my soul. I know it's already existence. I see it, but I saw it. And a client that I was talking to saw it as well. And it was almost like the soul was saying, you see, when you let go, don't put me in a box. Don't limit your soul. Don't limit yourself. Just see right now. Ask that question. What in my life am I avoiding to avoid disappointment? And when you ask that question, let go, because it will be shown to you. Then ask another question. Where is it coming from? What is the root of me feeling so much fear and wounding around disappointment? Bring it up to the surface, see it, face it, acknowledge it. So I've just had a conversation with my dad, and we can often not acknowledge that we've been through trauma as children because we don't want to feel like we're being negative towards our parents, or that we're blaming them for something, especially if you have a really loving relationship with your parents and you love your parents like I do. It took me a long time to acknowledge that I had trauma from my past, and it wasn't because my parents were bad or wrong. It's because they've got trauma and it's been passed on in different ways. And if we can't acknowledge that, then we cannot heal. So as we ask those questions, things are going to come up from our past. Memories are going to come up, and we can start to just be curious about them, be curious about how that experience has created a behavior right now where we're avoiding disappointment. And then we can start to ask ourselves, well, now we know the root, can I let go of that? Can I actually just let it go? Obviously, I'm in a point in my life where I am letting go of all these things, and they're really coming into my consciousness. Why am I doing that? How am I doing that? I'm doing that because I am embodying more of my soul, because I am just purely focused on my healing, on connecting to my soul, on having the right relationship with my body. And that is moving me deeper on this path, and it's allowing me to just simply, now I'm at a point now where I can just see things and transmute them instantly and integrate the learning and the lesson instantly. I don't have to dwell on it for ages. I don't go into any spiraling down. I just move through it very quickly, and this is moving into mastery, right? I'm moving into mastery when it comes to healing and mastery of the self, and it's a continual journey that we go on. But as we go on that journey, as we say, I commit, I devote to the journey of mastery of the self, the journey of healing the self, then we can start to move through this healing very, very quickly. So yeah, I just wanted to share that video because it's coming to my consciousness, and I think if you ask that, it's going to create a change in your life, a ripple that's going to empower you. So ask yourself that question today. What am I avoiding to avoid disappointment, and where is it coming from?